Today's video is made possible by my beautiful peeps over on Patreon. If you want your name on this list on the credits of every single video I make, if you want access to my private Discord and a bunch of other exclusive perks, click the link in the top line of the description. Go check out some of the other perks I have to offer over there, and thank you to everybody who has done so far. No, David, please! It's obviously way too easy, come on! I swear, if you do any more lasagna, bro, what the absolute f***? Please, no, don't, I beg you. I voted yes because I thought it said Avril Lavigne's party ring. But what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Buzzfeed test. As you can see, I did another Instagram poll, and there were some unhappy people. Listen, after last week's fiasco, the amount of cream cheese I had to use, and the fact that I haven't done a lasagna in over 6 months, I think I'm allowed to do this. Also the fact that 70% of you voted yes on this, so I don't really understand the disgust. Anyway though, this is an Alvin recipe who has famously done another lasagna recipe that gave me problems in the past, but this one looks much simpler, much more practical, and quite delicious, to be honest with you. I haven't had me some lasagna in a very long time, so let's get right into this one. If you've got a bundt pan and you want to try to make this at home, you're going to need to grab yourself some oil and ricotta cheese, tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese, lasagna noodles, fresh garlic, salt and pepper, an onion, some shredded parmesan, an egg, some parsley, some ground beef, and some sweet Italian sausage. You know, I'm really tempted to record some automated voiceovers for the hundreds of times I do the same chopping of vegetables on the channel, but here we are again. I have not recorded that stuff yet. For those of you out there counting at home, add these to the list. I am also going to have to measure out 3/4 of a pound of both the beef and the sausage, so these are about a pound each, and I was able to get 1.5 pounds in total. Into my pan with some oil, I started to cook down my onions and garlic. I added in my beef and sausage, which this was quite impossible to get to really small pieces. The sausage was mainly what was giving me a problem. I had to take a few pieces out and chop them up by hand, but no big deal. I did add in some salt and pepper, the 28-ounce can of plain tomato sauce, and once that comes back to a simmer, you can put it on very low heat and let it just bubble away while we prepare everything else. Next up is our ricotta cheese mix. If you have watched this recipe, you might know that they used basil. I'm gonna opt for some Italian parsley, mainly because the store I went to didn't have fresh basil. Moving along. This is just a pretty basic mixture of some ricotta and Parmesan cheese, some herbs, some salt and pepper, and an egg, of course. And with our second component done, the last thing we have to do is just boil up some lasagna noodles. You do want to undercook these. If the box says 10 to 12 minutes like mine did, do it for 7 or 8 minutes, because it's going to finish cooking in the oven. I strained those really quick, I shredded a block of mozzarella cheese, and finally we can grab our bundt pan and start to throw this together. I'm gonna be honest here, this was the hardest thing I've had to do in weeks. The lasagna noodles do not cooperate, they want to be all floppy and stick to the sides of the pan, and by the time you get halfway around the pan, there's parts in the middle of this that have like 6 layers of noodles. I tried to cut some pieces off of these to make them fit better. There's really no right way to do this, I don't think. What the?
You really don't need to censor yourself now.
Layer by layer, I filled up the inside of my pan. I did 3 layers of mozzarella cheese, 2 layers of the ricotta, 2 layers of the pasta. I know I put a lot more than Alvin did in his original one, but who cares? We made it and it fits in the pan. The very last thing you've got to do is fold all of your pasta sheets over the top and then throw it in a 375-degree oven for 40 minutes. I did throw some foil on top so the noodles didn't burn, but after it was out and cooled, I flipped it over and I don't know how to feel about this. It's kind of weird seeing like a wet, pale noodle on the outside of something cooked. Also, this was just seeping juices, I assume, from that tomato sauce, but I was able to get a piece, so let's give it a try. Honestly, this stayed together a lot better than I was expecting. You could still see, well, you see all the individual layers in there. I'm so excited right now. Have I mentioned lasagna is one of my favorite foods? Anything with like pasta and sauce and cheese. Oh yes. This is fantastic, and I'm gonna eat half of that ring. I don't think it's worth the hassle of forming it in a ring, especially because how many people are gonna grab a hunk of lasagna and then without it falling all over the place, just put it in a square pan. Let's test it actually, if it's plausible to eat like a sandwich. 9.2 out of 10. If it was easier to put in a ring shape, it would be a 10 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, slap a like on this one for me. I am going to reluctantly give you guys the power in the comment section for next week's video again. Whichever comment gets the most likes is the recipe I will do. I'm probably gonna regret this. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you do not already. Other than that, have an awesome weekend. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision. We could make it